the Amazon. Just hearing the word instantly brings images to life in your mind. Endless green jungles, murky rivers the color of coffee with milk, the cries of strange birds echoing through the treetops, and that unsettling feeling that behind every leaf, beneath every root, in every square meter of jungle, something is hiding that you would never want to encounter in the dark. And honestly, you'd be right. The Amazon is the largest tropical rainforest on Earth. 10% of all living species on the planet exist right here. 6.5 million square kilometers of dense jungle, crossed by a river that pours 1/5 of all the world's fresh water into the Atlantic Ocean. More water than the Mississippi, the Nile, the Yangtze, and the Ganges combined. This place is home to 40,000 species of plants, 1,300 species of birds, 3,000 species of fish, and millions upon millions of insects, most of which science still hasn't even identified. In a single hectare of this forest, you can find more varieties of trees than in the entire United Kingdom. This is the land of jaguars, pink river dolphins, and harpy eagles, with wingspans reaching 2 meters, powerful enough to snatch monkeys straight out of the trees. Piranhas swim through these waters. So do electric eels capable of delivering shocks of up to 800 volts. And then there's the arapaima, a fish that can grow over 3 meters long, one of the largest freshwater fish in the world. It breathes air and can survive droughts by burying itself in the mud. But among all this unbelievable biodiversity, there are creatures so terrifying that even the most experienced locals cross themselves and keep their distance. Creatures that kill through pain, through terror, through venom, and through sheer brute force. Beings that evolved over millions of years into perfect predators, parasites, and hunters in this hot, humid nightmare. Today, we're diving into the 5 most terrifying inhabitants of the Amazon. And fair warning, if you were planning a vacation near the Amazon River, by the end of this video, you might completely change your mind. So before we continue, make sure to subscribe, leave a like, and join us on this journey into the darkest corners of nature. Because out here, nature never forgives mistakes. Number 1. The black caiman. When people think about the dangers of the Amazon, they usually picture piranhas or giant anacondas. But the deadliest predator in the Amazon basin is neither a fish nor a snake. It's a reptile that was already ruling these waters long before humans ever arrived. The black caiman, the true king of the Amazon. An adult black caiman can grow over 6 meters long and weigh nearly half a ton. Imagine a predator the size of a small truck, hidden just beneath the dark surface of the water. Only its eyes and nostrils visible, watching, waiting. And the worst part? You usually never see it until it's far too late. Its bite is one of the most powerful in the animal kingdom. Stronger than a lion's, stronger than a tiger's, strong enough to crush bones like dry branches. Unlike crocodiles in Africa, black caimans don't always fear humans. In remote regions of the Amazon, there are documented cases of attacks on fishermen, hunters, and even people washing clothes near the riverbanks. At night, these reptiles become almost invisible. Their dark skin blends perfectly into the black waters, and while you're listening to the sounds of the jungle, the caiman is already calculating the exact moment to strike. It hunts with terrifying patience, sometimes remaining motionless for hours. Then, in less than a second, it explodes from the water. One violent snap, one pull beneath the surface, and silence. Most victims never even have the chance to scream. Locals say that if you ever see 2 glowing red eyes floating above the water at night, you should slowly back away, because chances are the Amazon's apex predator has already noticed you first. And this is only the beginning. The deeper we go into this jungle, the worse things become. Right in the middle of the video, let me know in the comments, which of these Amazon creatures do you think would be the most terrifying to encounter in real life? And if you enjoy videos about dangerous wildlife, mysteries, and survival stories, stay with us until the end, because the last creature on this list is something most people wish they had never discovered. If a boat ever flips over in waters where black caimans live, locals know one rule above all else: don't swim for the shore. Stay with the boat, because the caiman attacks movement in the water, and a person swimming is the perfect target. But someone staying still, clinging to an overturned boat, is often ignored. The black caiman was nearly wiped out during the 20th century because of hunting. Its dark leather was considered extremely valuable in the luxury market. By the 1960s, the species had dropped to critically low numbers, but after hunting bans and the creation of protected reserves, the population slowly recovered. And today, the black caiman once again rules the Amazon's night waters. Scientists estimate there are now hundreds of thousands of them, although counting anything accurately in the endless Amazon jungle is nearly impossible. Number 2. The Brazilian wandering spider. If you're afraid of spiders, you may want to skip this part. And if you're not afraid of spiders yet, after this, you probably will be. The Brazilian wandering spider, also known as Phenutria, does not build webs. It doesn't wait for prey to come to it. Instead, it actively roams the jungle at night searching for victims. That's exactly how it got its name. The wandering spider. During the day, it hides in dark, damp places, under fallen logs, inside hollow trees, in termite mounds, between cracks in walls, and, to the horror of local residents, inside homes. With its legs extended, it can reach the size of a man's hand. Its body is covered in short, stiff hairs that give it a disturbing velvet-like appearance. Its 8 eyes sit in 2 rows at the front of its head, and although its eyesight is relatively poor, it navigates perfectly through darkness, using vibration-sensitive receptors in its legs. And unlike most spiders, this one is unbelievably aggressive. Most spiders try to escape from humans. The Phenutria does the opposite. It raises its front legs high into the air, revealing its red fangs, rocking side to side, then lunging directly at the threat. It is not afraid of you. You are supposed to be afraid of it, and there are very good reasons for that. Its bite is considered one of the most painful and dangerous spider bites in the world. The Guinness World Records officially recognized it as the most venomous spider on Earth. Its venom is a powerful neurotoxin that attacks the nervous system. Within minutes of a bite, victims experience burning pain that rapidly spreads through the body. Then come excessive sweating, drooling, racing heartbeat, blood pressure changes, and violent muscle spasms. In severe cases, the venom can paralyze the respiratory muscles and trigger cardiac arrest. Without treatment, a child can die within hours. Adults survive more often, but even for them, without antivenom, the outcome can still be fatal. Thankfully, antivenom exists and is available in most Brazilian hospitals. But here's the terrifying part. The wandering spider loves hiding inside human spaces, inside shoes, inside clothes, even inside banana shipments in local markets. Every single year, thousands of people in Brazil are bitten by these spiders, and many of those bites happen in the exact same way. Someone slips on a shoe in the morning without checking inside first. That's why children growing up in Amazon villages learn from an early age to shake out their shoes every morning. For them, it's not paranoia, it's survival. And now we move to number 3, the green anaconda. The anaconda is one of the few creatures on Earth that truly needs no introduction. It is the heaviest snake in the world, and the Amazon is its kingdom. Green anacondas can grow 6 or even 7 meters long. There are controversial reports of individuals reaching 9 meters, and some weigh more than 200 kilograms. In 2024, scientists in Ecuador officially described a newly identified species, the northern green anaconda, separate from the already known southern species, and according to early data, it may grow even larger. Now technically, the anaconda is not the longest snake on Earth. That title belongs to the reticulated python of Southeast Asia, which can exceed 10 meters. But when it comes to pure mass and raw muscular power, no modern snake rivals the anaconda. Its body is basically living muscle, as thick as an adult man's torso, covered in olive green skin marked with black blotches that provide perfect camouflage in vegetation-filled waters. In water, the anaconda moves with terrifying grace and speed, capable of swimming for kilometers without stopping. On land, however, it becomes slow and awkward. Its massive body is built for water, not dry ground. That's why it spends most of its life submerged in swamps, flooded forests, and slow-moving channels. It hunts through ambush, lurking in shallow water, or hanging silently from branches above the river. completely motionless, sometimes for hours, waiting for prey to get just close enough. Midway through the video, if you're still watching, comment the word Amazon below so we know you made it this far. And don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy deep dives into nature's darkest creatures, because the next parts only become more terrifying from here. And when that moment comes, the attack is almost impossible to escape. The snake explodes forward with shocking speed. Its jaws clamp onto the prey. Then its body coils around the victim in seconds. People often believe snakes kill by crushing bones. That's actually a myth. Anacondas kill through pressure. Each time the victim exhales, the snake tightens slightly more. Little by little, breathing becomes impossible. Blood circulation collapses. And eventually, the heart can no longer function. Death comes silently, without screams, without blood, only pressure and darkness. Afterward, the snake swallows the prey whole. Its jaws can stretch to unbelievable sizes, thanks to flexible ligaments connecting the skull. An anaconda can consume capybaras, deer, caimans, giant turtles, and in rare cases, even jaguars. And yes, there are documented reports of attacks on humans. Though these cases are extremely rare, most involve people swimming alone, fishermen wading through flooded forests, or individuals surprising the snake at close range. Still, despite all the legends, scientists insist that anacondas do not actively hunt humans. A full-grown adult is usually too large and risky for the snake to consider worthwhile prey. But that doesn't make encounters any less terrifying. Imagine swimming through muddy Amazon water where visibility is almost zero, and somewhere beneath you may be a 7-meter predator silently tracking movement. That fear alone is enough. Locals across the Amazon have countless stories about giant snakes. Stories passed from generation to generation. Some speak of monstrous anacondas, so enormous they resemble floating tree trunks. Others describe serpents capable of overturning canoes. Many of these tales are certainly exaggerated, but not all. Because in a rainforest this vast, there are still enormous regions humans barely understand. And even scientists admit the Amazon continues to hide countless secrets. Number 4. The bullet ant. At first glance, the bullet ant doesn't look especially terrifying. It's just a large black ant, roughly 3 centimeters long. No giant fangs, no dripping venom, no monstrous appearance. But what this insect can do to the human nervous system is almost beyond belief. The bullet ant earned its name because victims describe its sting as feeling exactly like being shot. And according to the Schmidt Pain Index, the official scientific scale used to rank insect sting pain, the bullet ant sits at the absolute top. Entomologist Justin Schmidt, who deliberately allowed himself to be stung by hundreds of insects for scientific study, described the pain this way. Pure, intense, brilliant pain. Like walking over flaming charcoal with a 3-inch nail embedded in your heel. And the terrifying part is that the pain doesn't last minutes. It can continue for 12 to 24 straight hours. The ant injects a neurotoxic venom called ponorotoxin. This toxin disrupts nerve communication, causing waves of agony, trembling, sweating, temporary paralysis, and uncontrollable muscle contractions. Victims often collapse to the ground screaming. Some compare it to electrical shocks moving through the entire body. Others say they completely lose the ability to think clearly because the pain overwhelms every sense. But perhaps the strangest thing about the bullet ant is its role in one of the most extreme initiation rituals on Earth. Certain indigenous tribes in the Amazon, especially the Sateré-Mawe people of Brazil, use bullet ants as part of a brutal coming-of-age ceremony for boys. The ants are first collected from the jungle and temporarily sedated using herbal smoke. Then they are woven into gloves made from leaves and fibers, with all the stingers facing inward. When the ants awaken, the boy must place both hands into the gloves and keep them there for around 10 minutes. 10 minutes. With dozens, sometimes hundreds of bullet ants repeatedly stinging his hands and arms. Witnesses say the pain is indescribable. Boys shake violently, cry, collapse, sometimes temporarily lose control of their limbs. But enduring the pain is considered proof of strength, courage, and readiness for adulthood. And here's the truly unbelievable part. The ritual isn't performed just once. In some communities, boys must repeat it 20 times throughout their adolescence. Imagine surviving that, over and over again. Before we reveal the final creature on this list, take a second to hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because videos like this take you into places most people will never dare explore. And trust me, the last creature is something that turns even experienced Amazon guides pale. Number 5. The Candiru. Out of every creature in the Amazon, this may be the one surrounded by the most fear. Not because it's the biggest, not because it's the strongest, but because of the horrifying legends attached to it. The Candiru is a tiny parasitic catfish. Most species are only a few centimeters long, thin, nearly transparent, and easy to miss in muddy water. At first glance, it seems completely harmless, but appearances in the Amazon can be dangerously deceptive. The Candiru survives by feeding on blood. It locates larger fish by detecting chemical traces released through their gills. Then it darts inside, anchoring itself with sharp backward-facing spines. Once attached, it feeds directly from the blood vessels. It's essentially a vampire fish. And for centuries, terrifying stories about it spread through Amazon villages. Stories claiming the Candiru could swim into the human body, especially through the urethra of anyone urinating in the river. According to local legends, once inside, the fish expands its spines, making removal almost impossible without surgery. The pain is said to be unbearable, and in older stories, the injury could even become fatal because of infection or internal damage. Now, modern science debates how much of these stories are true. There is only one widely documented medical case often cited in discussions about Candiru attacks on humans, and many researchers believe the legends have been exaggerated over generations. But even if only part of the stories are accurate, it's enough to make anyone think twice before stepping into Amazon waters. And honestly, that's what makes the Amazon so terrifying. Not just the predators you can see, but the invisible dangers, the parasites, the venom, the infections, the endless unknown hiding beneath the surface. The Amazon rainforest is one of the last places on Earth where nature still completely dominates humanity. A place where humans are not at the top of the food chain. A place where every step, every branch, every ripple in the water could mean danger. And despite centuries of exploration, scientists estimate that millions of Amazon species remain undiscovered. New insects, new fungi, new parasites, potentially even new predators. Entire regions of the rainforest are still so isolated that humans have barely studied them. Some indigenous tribes living deep within the jungle have never had outside contact, and perhaps that isolation is exactly why parts of the Amazon remain untouched. Still wild, still mysterious, still feared, because the deeper you go into the Amazon, the more you realize something unsettling. This forest was never built for us. Here, humans are fragile, soft, temporary, and the jungle never cares whether you survive. So the next time you see beautiful drone footage of the Amazon online, remember what may be hidden beneath that endless green canopy. Eyes watching from the water, venom hidden under leaves. Creatures evolved for millions of years to kill, trap, poison, or consume anything weak enough to cross their path. The Amazon is breathtaking, but it is also one of the last truly unforgiving places left on Earth. And maybe that's exactly why it continues to fascinate us. If you made it all the way to the end, comment "jungle" below so we know you survived this journey with us. And if you enjoyed exploring the darkest side of nature, subscribe and stay with the channel for more stories about the world's deadliest creatures, lost places, and terrifying mysteries. Because out there, somewhere beyond the edge of civilization, nature is still waiting. The frog simply stores and concentrates that poison inside special glands in its skin. If you remove a poison dart frog from the rainforest and feed it ordinary crickets from a pet store, within just a few generations, it will completely lose its toxicity. Which means the golden dart frog is not naturally poisonous on its own. It is poisonous because it lives in the Amazon. The jungle is what makes it deadly. Take it out of that ecosystem, and it becomes nothing more than a tiny, colorful frog. It's the perfect example of how an ecosystem shapes the creatures living inside it. Not just their appearance and behavior, but even their chemistry. And with that, we've journeyed through the 5 most terrifying creatures of the Amazon. A 6-meter nighttime predator with one of the strongest bites among reptiles. A spider that doesn't run from you, but charges straight toward you and can kill a child within hours. A snake as thick as a man's torso, capable of swallowing deer and caimans whole. A tiny transparent fish that drinks blood from inside its victims. And a small brightly colored frog whose touch alone can stop your heart. And do you know what all of these creatures have in common? They are not evil. They are not cruel. They are the result of millions of years of evolution in one of the most competitive and densely populated ecosystems on Earth. In the Amazon, every square meter is a battlefield where countless species fight for light, food, water, and the right to survive. And in conditions like these, only the creatures that perfected their niche endure. The black caiman became the ultimate nighttime ambush predator. The wandering spider evolved into the perfect roaming hunter armed with chemical weapons. The anaconda transformed into the ultimate constricting machine. The candiru became the perfect microscopic parasite. And the golden dart frog turned into a living warning sign that says, "Do not touch." Each of these creatures is a masterpiece of evolutionary design, refined over millions of years through natural selection. And this is the true lesson of the Amazon. This forest is not just a beautiful backdrop filled with parrots and butterflies. It is an arena where the most intense evolutionary arms race on the planet is still taking place. Predators become stronger, venoms become deadlier, parasites become smarter, and prey becomes more cautious. Every species here is an answer to thousands of survival challenges. How do you survive in darkness? How do you find food when every meter of land is already occupied? How do you defend yourself when you're the size of a fingernail? How do you kill prey 10 times larger than you? And all of these creatures are connected through countless invisible threads, woven together across millions of years. The poison dart frog is toxic because it eats certain ants. Those ants are toxic because they feed on specific plants. Remove the plants, and the frog loses its poison. Remove the frog, and its predators lose the evolutionary pressure that forced them to stay cautious. Remove the predators, and something else spirals out of control. It is an endless chain of interdependence, with every link forged over tens of millions of years. That's why the destruction of the Amazon is not simply the loss of trees. It is the destruction of biological masterpieces that evolution spent millions of years creating, masterpieces impossible to rebuild. Every hectare of rainforest destroyed means thousands of species losing their home. And hundreds of those species haven't even been discovered by science yet. We are burning down a library before reading most of its books. So tell us in the comments, which of these 5 creatures shocked you the most? And which one would you never want to encounter alone in the wild? And don't forget to subscribe. The Amazon still hides thousands of untold stories, each one more incredible and terrifying than the last. And without a doubt, we'll return for them. Until next time.